The topic of raising children got me thinking a couple of weeks ago, what's the purpose of life? So I asked my friend a question: would you rather be the greatest at your own pursuit or career, but you have no wife and kids, or you could have an average career you don't really enjoy, but you have a loving wife and kids? It's like, which is more important in life, individualism or collectivism? Individualism emphasizes personal freedom and independence, so it's like what I want out of life. And collectivism more so prioritizes the needs of a group rather than yourself. Having children is one of the most collectivist things a female or male can do. You gotta sacrifice time, money, and patience, all for an ungrateful little iPad kid. If we look at the stats, men need to be creampieing more women. For a bunch of horny monkeys evolutionarily driven to reproduce, the birth rate is somewhat declining. And it's not that the new generation can't, it's that we just don't want to. Which begs the question, do people even want to raise kids anymore? People definitely enjoy having sex, but does anyone actually want to raise a kid anymore? I feel ungrateful to my parents saying this, but I already understand like the whole generic one around. I gotta pass on my genes, pass on my important memories and knowledge to my kids. But like many others, I don't think I actually want kids. So apart from society telling me I should, at the end of the day, I'm not obligated to bring my future out into this world. My friend tells me like the purpose of life is to have kids and have a family, but I just completely disagree. I just feel like, I don't know, there's so many other ways I can influence children, but I don't know, I don't have to have kids. I could become a teacher, I could, I don't know, write a book, or I could make a YouTube video. If having kids is the purpose of life, then why does modern society clearly cater and reward the individualistic mindset? I mean, just look at the global birth rate stats for first world countries like America and Australia. They're declining even though they're first world countries, and I think there's a lot of reasons for this. Particularly just three main reasons. 1, phones and internet. 2, cost of living. And 3, female contraception. Back in the day, there were no phones and internet, so I don't know, people would come back from a hard day's work, you know, come back to the wife, have a beer, and they would just fuck. But now we have the internet and phones, so like there's way more deterrence, and people are just less incentivized to go out and find a partner, because it's hard enough as it is already. Well, in theory, because of social media and the internet, the playing field should be bigger. So there should be more women and more male options for either gender. But I feel like there's just so many options on either side, it's getting harder for people to settle. And as a result, people are just gonna always keep swiping on Tinder, even if they do find a better option. Number 2, the cost of living is just continually increasing. So if someone were to raise a child, that's just more financial pressure on them. And because of the cost of living, which is increasing, it amplifies this culture of like hustle mindset. I gotta stack more money, I gotta get a better job, I gotta get a better promotion. I know, it just pushes towards people towards more of a individualism mindset. Back in the day, heaps of pregnancies were accidental, and now with all the birth control methods, sex is just much more controlled. Sex now is seen as something you do for enjoyment, not necessarily something that leads to children. In relation to not raising kids, I think other people are starting to accept the idea of just not getting into a relationship and being alone. I feel like getting into a relationship is nice, but in reality, every year spent in a relationship could have been a year spent working on your field or hobby, making more money, or even spending time with your own family. I think guys and girls are starting to realize this too, so they're trying to find a way to fully maximize their time and get all the benefits of a relationship without actually being in a relationship, which is why I think hookup culture is so prevalent. People text, they meet up, and they fuck. They don't have to go to a fancy diner, they don't have to wear a fancy suit. We're in a new world where people don't want kids less, they just want everything else more.